everyone. This is Dr. O'Neill, the very proud Lindenwold School District Superintendent. One day, as I was outside of Lindenwold High School, reminding students to be safe and walk on the sidewalk, one of the students stopped and asked me, what was the Board of Education planning for this year? I thought for a moment, what a great question. So today, I'm here to discuss with all of you some of the major upcoming construction projects that lie ahead. And this will be discussed in this episode of the Lions Minute. Over the next 3 summers, Lindenwold will be experiencing significant upgrades to our facilities. As you all know, we are building a new early childhood center, which will open in September of 2025. What you may not know about are some of the other projects we have planned for our school district. Over the next 3 years, we will be completing our HVAC projects to ensure that all of our buildings have air conditioning. We will be replacing roofs throughout this district, and we are even building a brand new culinary room at our Lindenwold High School, which will be ready by September 2024. There is a lot going on and planned, so today I invited Mrs. Hooter, our district business administrator, to come and talk with us. She happens to oversee the construction projects throughout the district, and she is responsible for budgeting and securing grant funding to use for these projects. When working in schools, it's not as easy to upgrade as it is your house. For example, we can't just run out to Home Depot and buy window air conditioners for our classrooms to solve our air conditioning problems. There's a lot involved in construction work. We work with architects and engineers and the State Department of Education and many other agencies to ensure that our work is aligned to code and all requirements as determined by our state, educational department, county, and town. And schools must plan and budget for these projects. We can't just run out and get a loan or use a credit card. We have to have actual money in hand to complete this work. So, Mrs. Hooter, can you walk us through what the next 3 years will look like for Lindenwold schools and some of the very exciting expansion projects that lie ahead?
Hello, Dr. O'Neill, and thank you for inviting me here today to talk about our district and all of the very exciting projects that we are planning over the next few summers. As you noted, all of these projects have many details and many people that are involved to create a successful project outcome. I prepared a short presentation to use to walk us through the project plans as well as the funding mechanisms that we will utilize to pay for all of this construction. The first thing that I would like to discuss will be the funding sources. As listed here, there are 4 main categories. First is bonds, which is debt issued by authorization by the Lindenwold taxpayers to support the cost of a building project. Annual debt service aid is then provided by the state to supplement the annual repayment of this debt. We passed our bond referendum for the new ECC Early Childhood Center building on January 25th, 2022, which authorized approximately $33 million in bonds to be sold. Debt service aid on these bonds is paid by the state each year and lessens the amount of funds that we pay back to the bank. Debt service aid for new construction is calculated based on square footage of the building and landed up in our project to be about 23% of our loan, or approximately $7.6 million over the life of the debt. Secondly, capital reserve funds, which are either deposited into an equity account or in the annual budget process, or through deposits of unspent funds at year-end. This is the only funding mechanism that allows us to save money from our local budget for future building projects. We rely heavily on this method to pay for necessary projects. Third, we have ROD grants, which are my favorite. As you know, these grant funds are authorized by the New Jersey School Development Authority to regular operating districts through a statutory process. As I have shared in many venues, Lindenwold was awarded the largest ROD grant allocation in the state of New Jersey for a total of $28 million. These funds will be used to pay for 7 projects and will cover 82% of the total project costs. Super exciting. Lastly, there are sometimes other grant funds that are provided for building projects. Most recently, we were awarded close to $5 million from the Board of Public Utilities, and then we were allocated approximately $3.6 million from our ESSER's American Rescue Plan funds to support other HVAC projects as well. The next few slides will detail the project locations and timelines that are in progress. My first slide that I have up here is our School 5 project slide, which talks about the projects at School 5. In summer 24, we will start HVAC replacement. That is what we are calling phase 1, and that will be about 70% of the project. And then in 2025, we will complete that HVAC replacement project, and that will be the entire building that will be covered as of summer 25. In addition, there will also be a brand new roof in summer 25. At the middle school, it's a very similar project. HVAC replacement will be for phase 2 of the project. That is the entire D wing of the middle school, and that will be done in summer 2024. And a new roof will also be in summer 25. There are also dollar amounts listed on these slides, but I won't read all of them to you, but that does detail the categories of funding as well as the dollars that are tied to each. School 4 projects in 2026, we are doing the entire building, HVAC as well as roof. This is the largest project we will do for sure in the district, as in the past we have tackled buildings in categories, but since we do have this funding all at once and we do know we have it, we will do the entire School 4 HVAC project in one summer as well as the roof. Very excited about that. And then lastly, at our high school in 2026, again, we will be doing HVAC replacement and a new roof as well. At the high school, because the building was built in 2021, the HVAC project depth will be a little bit less extensive. And then, of course, our Early Childhood Center in September 2025, which we are also super excited about, and as noted before, that is funded by bonds that were authorized by the Lindenwold taxpayers. So, this slide here is a summary of our funds. We have bonds, capital reserve, ROD grants, and other grants. And the last slide shows you, just sort of breaks out a category. You know, I like a slide with a graph. And this just shows, you know, the different categories of funds and how many funds, you know, what the allocation is, I should say. So the total piece of the picture, funding analysis, total project costs are just over $90 million, $90.8 million. Total grants, which are at no cost to the Lindenwold taxpayer at all, are at $57.6 million, super exciting. And lastly, the ECC project created a zero tax increase and has maintained that status of a zero tax increase since the building construction has begun. Lastly, I would just like to note that the photos in the last 2 slides are hot off the ECC live construction site. I thought that was pretty cool. You can see the cranes in the backgrounds, as well as the Lindenwold High School in the upper right-hand corner of one of the slides. We have been filming the construction as well since day one, and we are utilizing a time-lapse camera, and we'll be unveiling the entire video of the build upon completion in the fall of 2025. So that's all I have. As you can see, lots of exciting things are happening, and thank you again, Dr. O'Neill, for inviting me here today, as well as for being so supportive of all of these projects in the district.
Thank you, Mrs. Hooter. That was really informative. This concludes this edition of the Lions Minute. See you next time.